Hi guys, Tuhon McGrath here. I want to talk to you a bit today about the training process for the full wall system. Tuhon Gaje told us that the classic way to teach young boys in the Philippines in his family style on the Tortal side was to start training at the age of 7. You would do 1 year of footwork drills. Tuhon Gaje was very patient. He did end up doing 3 years, but normally the process would be 1 year of footwork and then 1 year of the abecedario, where you would get 1 set per month for a year. So let's say starting in January, get set 1 in January, practicing on a tree to learn the targets and precision, and then set 2 would come in February, so you're practicing set 1 and learning a new set 2 the second month, and then continue on through the year. The full wall was the first time this child, now remember they're 7, 8 were previous to this, so let's say starts in his 9th birthday, let's say. So he's 9 years old, and this is the first stick-to-stick contact he makes with another human being. So the full wall is designed to be at first a simple introduction to that stick-to-stick contact, so you can be successful in blocking a stick. Oh wow, this is cool. When we first learned it, it was just as emergency blocks and a very, very rudimentary timing drill. And then it was a very common practice for Tuhon Gaje in those days. Once we learned advanced material, we would go back and revisit the basics and do them under the theories and principles of the advanced work. So you're going to see in this video I do the full wall 2 styles. 1 is as a emergency blocking procedure, and 2 as an entry procedure. And when I say blocking, Tuhon Gaje didn't like the word blocking, but really what he demonstrated was he didn't like passive blocks where you're standing there just absorbing the hit. You need an active block. So if someone's striking you with a stick moving 50 miles an hour, you have to get your stick moving at 50 miles an hour to stop his, or get 2 hands on it, or do something to increase the mass to absorb that force. And we'll go into that in a moment. Now, Tuhon Gaje always said he did not like blocks. What he meant was did not like passive blocks. So if Dan is coming with a strike and his stick is moving 50 miles an hour, and I put my stick here in a stationary fashion, then his mass or his force is going to overcome my stationary stick, even though they're both weigh the same. So there's 2 stages to full wall. 1 is an emergency procedure, emergency block, but it's an active block, and the other is an entry. The first one we learned was the blocking procedure, the emergency procedure. So if my stick is centered here and I notice him coming at the last moment, how do I get enough force to overcome his chamber position from all the way back into here so he has higher velocity? The way you do that is a kind of a rolling and dropping motion, a corkscrew, where I'm coming in with the blade almost to the cutting edge. I'm trying to get past that as early as I can and get pretty much to the side of the blade. And as I also do that, I'm dropping and tightening up the core of my body so it's a solid body structure here. So it's driving in here. So if he comes in hard, I'm dropping into that, getting that force from here to here that is trying to equal the force he's coming in with his swing. I'm also reinforcing my hand either with the edge on the thumb or in double force, or with the hand here or here. So I can come in with double force. Beginners, sometimes you'll have them come in with the hand. This hand of the thumb is very much a precursor to a spotty dagger, or a way to go in line with the stick without coming up on the stick, which can be dangerous for beginners. Then the beginners can go here, and you're coming with the back of the arm to reinforce that, and then you come in with your strike or your capture. So from the other side of the backhand, instead of closing the wrist, you're kind of opening the wrist, and you emphasize more of that downward angle. So when he comes in, there's more of a slash there that helps overcome his better momentum because he's moving. However, you got to be careful you don't over travel and have the point facing out away from me. If you have a sword without a cross guard like a regular bolo, then that's funneling his sword towards me. So you want to really try to keep this so that the shaft is parallel with your body, pointed at him, and it's not, the tip is not angled out. And that's the basic position we got for four-wall. We'll go into what we did advanced in a moment. It was very common when we were training with Tuhon Gaje, after we got the basics, we go on to advanced material, and we got the advanced material, he would very often go back and revisit the basics with a new style, new flavor based on the advanced learning we had. So one thing we did was in four-wall. So instead of an emergency blocking drill, it now became an entry drill. Let me show you how that process works. So we start the training with his stick is stretched out. I'm waving in here so that, I like to do it to the shoulder these days instead of face, so that I'm just inside his range when I wave in, and I'm outside his range when I wave out. So I start on here leaning in, he strikes, I wave out and get back in. And my timing on that is I wave out as soon as I see the stick coming. But just as it passes the outline of my body, I start my wave in. I want to get the timing of jumping in as soon as that opening appears. So he strikes, I wave out, and I'm in. Strikes, wave out, and in. And then you're going to do that with your hand reaching in. So he strikes, and I touch the shoulder, and I get back. He strikes, and I touch the shoulder, and I get back. And then you can start doing a little faster where your footwork's going to change. I'll strike and I'll move off on a line. So now I'm on this side, he has to readjust. So when he strikes, I wave out, I wave in, I touch, and I get back outline that way. It makes my escape a little faster, more efficient. Then you're going to do that with the stick, so that we're striking on 1 and 2. So the side step takes the place of your waving it out. And then as soon as his stick passes me, I come in a four-wall posture, but I'm just guarding in case his weapon side comes back in for the strike. Really what I'm doing though is, as soon as that strike passes me, I guard just long enough to cover my movement as I'm coming in. So I'm not static, stopped here for a moment to take a selfie. I'm guarding that angle in case the strike does come in, but my idea is to hit on entry. So I show you that from the other side. So I guard just enough to cover my line and then in. And that's how we revisit a basic material after we've learned advanced. In my case, these days, I like to try to put both together and teach both the emergency block and the entry portion as soon as I teach full wall, because most of my people these days are adults who have prior training. But in the old days, we used to divide that up, or Tuhon Gaje and his teaching used to divide it up. Because if you're dealing with someone who hasn't had training before, that's a better way to do it. Okay, thank you guys. Train hard, but train smart.